There's a rumor going around. If you like this video and subscribe, you will find the One Piece. Hi guys, this is the next part of What if Itachi Uchiha was reincarnated in the world of fairy tale? I hope you enjoy. Itachi supported himself up against a wall as he walked through the streets shirtless. Got to go and beat Laxus, Itachi muttered to himself. But first, Itachi said as his eyes got very serious. 3 dangos please. Suddenly the scene switched with Itachi standing in front of a dango stand, now with a casual expression. Here you go. The man handed Itachi his dango. Nom nom nom. Itachi ate the dango, then regained his serious expression. Okay, time to find Laxus and beat him, Itachi said as he kept walking. Suddenly an explosion was heard. Itachi turned around and saw one of the lacrimas getting destroyed and exploded in a bolt of lightning, electrocuting whoever destroyed it. I better hurry. Meanwhile, with Mira at the Guildhall. If that sickness doesn't kill him, I will. Mira grumbled with her fists clenched. Then suddenly Levi woke up, rubbing her eyes. What happened? Levi questioned with a yawn. That little weasel escaped. Levi, stay here and look after the others. I will go and bring back our other patient, Mira said and ran downstairs and out of the Guildhall. Where are you? Mira looked around to all the different directions Itachi could have taken. She then spotted a local civilian. Excuse me, have you seen Itachi Uchiha? Mira asked the man. Huh, oh yeah, he went that way. He did look a little pale though, the man said and pointed in a direction. Mira instantly ran towards it. With Itachi, a chill suddenly ran down his spine as he could sense Mira approach. I have to keep going, Itachi said as he suddenly fell to his knees while clenching his right hand over his chest. I can't use too much energy. I need to save it for my battle with Laxus, but at this rate she will catch up to me, Itachi thought while panting. He then looked over in the direction where a lacrima got destroyed. My Sharingan can see Fried's and Kana's energy signature, also Jubia's, who seems to be really weak. She must have been the one that destroyed the lacrima. Itachi thought and picked himself up and kept walking. Looks like Fried will win, he must already know I'm here. So once he's done with Kana, he will most likely come after me. And I don't have enough energy to deal with both Fried and Laxus, Itachi thought as he looked in the direction where Mira's energy came from. I don't like it, but Mira might be able to distract Fried, and while they are fighting I can slip away unnoticed. But Mira still can't use her magic like she used to, and if Fried is as serious as Laxus when it comes to this battle of fairy tale, he might kill her. Itachi clenched his fist. Guess I have no choice, with Mira. Where did you run off to? Itachi, Mira said to herself and looked around, having asked several people if they have seen Itachi. She looked around and noticed a dango stand. Have you seen Itachi Uchiha lately around here? Itachi Uchiha? From fairy tale? I don't think so. What does he look like? The man questioned. He's in his early 20s, he has long black hair tied into a ponytail, black eyes, and tear lines. Mira described. Oh, that was Itachi. Sure, he was here just a while ago and bought some dango. He went towards the church. The man said. Thanks. Mira bowed and ran towards the church. Back with Itachi. Itachi kept walking as he felt Mira getting closer and closer. He also, thanks to his Sharingan, saw that Kana just lost to Fried. Time to begin this plan, Itachi thought as he began to hear footsteps running towards him. He looked behind him and saw none other than Mira Jane. Itachi Uchiha, Mira yelled as she was visibly annoyed. Looks like you finally caught up, Itachi said with an emotionless expression. What do you think you're doing? Exclamation mark. You're sick, you should be resting. Mira scolded and pinched Itachi's ear, dragging him with her. When we get back, you're going to wish that I killed you, Mira said, making Itachi sweat drop. You're not going anywhere. Fried's voice was heard as he appeared on the top of a building next to them. Fried, Mira said. Let me guess, you're here to fight me? Itachi questioned and gently removed Mira's hand from his ear. I'm here to prevent you from stopping Laxus. Fried directed his sword towards Itachi as his eyes turned dark, with his pupil being dark purple. Stop all of this. We're comrades, Mira said. Former comrades. But the purpose of this game is to alter that framework, thus the notion of camaraderie has no meaning here. Laxus' foe is my foe, Fried declared. Itachi gently pushed Mira to the side. I will deal with him, you stay back. What? No, you're in no condition to fight, Mira said as her face showed concern. There is no way out of this, he won't let us leave until we beat him, Itachi retorted. Please, I'm sure if you promise not to intervene he will let us go, Mira said as she grabbed Itachi's arm. You would think so, But no. At this point Fried doesn't want to take any chances, he knows I can beat Laxus so he wants to get me out of the way. Itachi said. Then I will, Mira said. No, you can't fight him as you are now, and no one else is close to this area. I'm the only one who can fight him, Itachi declared and got himself into a fighting stance. Ready when you are. Dark Ikacher. Pain. Fried swung his sword in the air as some runes appeared on Itachi's chest. Up. Itachi grunted in pain. Itachi. Mira shouted. Stop. Fried. Itachi is in no condition to fight. Mira begged, which Fried ignored. Dark Ikacher. Fear. Suffering. Fried swung his sword 2 more times. Ard. Itachi screamed in pain. Itachi then gritted his teeth and glared at Fried in anger. Why you should be afraid, Fried said with shock in his voice. I do feel the feeling of fear in me, but I've never been the kind of person to let fear overcome me, Itachi said as the pain in his body increased. Please, Mira began to cry. I'll do anything you want. Just spare him. Pain, 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 pain. Fried kept swinging his sword as more runes appeared on Itachi's body. Ard. Itachi screamed in pain, he then looked at Fried and smirked. Is that the best you got? Itachi mocked, making Fried twitch his eyes in anger. Pain, pain, pain. Fried chanted. Ard, Ard. Itachi grunted in pain as he felt like his body was slowly being ripped apart. Itachi looked over at Mira, who had tears running down her face. I'm sorry about this, Mira, Itachi thought. Ard. Itachi screamed in pain. No. Mira cried as Itachi fell to his knees panting. Dark Ikacher. Death. Death. Mira questioned as her face darkened and memories of Lizana's death came to her mind, as her heartbeats began to increase. Then memories of Itachi flooded her mind. She saw an image of a dead Itachi making her snap. Magic power began glowing beneath her, distracting Fried from his attack. What is this magic energy? Mira Jane. Fried questioned. Mira screamed as tears kept running down her face, when suddenly the ground beneath her began to crack and rocks began to levitate around her. A large dark magic circle appeared above her. She then began to change into her Satan soul form. Itachi looked at her and let out a small smile. It worked. I'm sorry for having to make you go through that, Mira, please, forgive me. Itachi thought. Mira then leapt from the ground towards Fried and swung her claw down on him, destroying the roof of the building. Dark Ikacher. Wings. Fried flew out from the rubble with wings made out of runes on his back. Mira then brought out her black devil wings and flew after Fried. Fried dodged her attacks and looked at her in shock when suddenly Mira kicked him in the gut, sending him crashing down into a building, turning it into rubble. This is my chance, Itachi said as he got up and walked away. Fried flew out from the rubble and tried to gain some distance from Mira. Suddenly Mira appeared behind him. Fried instantly turned around to face her. His eyes were wide and he was sweating in fear. You're dead, Mira said in a cold tone. This is She-Devil Mira Jane's takeover, Satan Soul. Fried thought. Mira extended her palm towards Fried as a magic circle was formed. Darkness stream. Out from the magic circle came several dark hands that charged at Fried. Fried used his sword to cut the hands. Dark. Fried began chanting but was stopped as Mira Jane slammed her claw into Fried, sending him flying back. Fried began to fly away as Mira followed. I've got no other choice, fight evil with evil. Dark Ikacher. Darkness. Fried's body turned into that of a demon. He raised his fist and delivered a punch towards Mira Jane's barreling fist. Their fists connected, creating huge shockwaves. They then surrounded their fists with magic power and began throwing a series of punches at each other. Mira connected her knee to Fried's jaw. Fried quickly reacted and they both charged at each other. They both crashed through a building. Mira placed her hand on Fried's chest. Evil spark. Waves of lightning began electrocuting Fried as he was then blasted into the ground, creating a crater. Fried struggled to get up. Such magic power. I'd heard rumors, but I had no idea Mira Jane was like this. Fried said in amazement as he looked at Mira, who gave him a cold glare. I cannot afford to lose, though. Fried began powering up. Darkness breath. A large dark tornado blew around Mira Jane. Once it vanished, Fried was in front of her with a dark orb in his hands. Darkness flash bomb. Fried slammed the orb into Mira, sending her crashing into a river. Did I get her? Fried questioned when suddenly the water in the river began swirling violently. Out of it came Mira, who was wrapping the water around her. She's wrapping the river water around herself with magic energy. Evil explosion. Mira sent a wave of water crashing into Fried, sending him crashing backwards. Mira then flew towards him and headbutted him. Mira then gathered her hands together as a dark orb of energy formed in her hands. Soul Extinctor. Mira blasted Freed with a dark wave of magic energy. When it collided with Freed, it created a large explosion that could be seen by everyone in Magnolia, as the light from it was so bright. When the light died down, Freed was in a crater. His body was beaten and battered. As he returned to normal, his coat's torso was gone. Freed struggled to get up as Mira landed in front of him. Freed looked at Mira, who gave him a cold glare as her eyes glowed red. Freed. Mira charged and grabbed Freed by the throat and pushed him into the ground. She then raised her fist and swung it towards Freed. Then an image of Lizanna came to her mind and a crow's shriek was heard, making an image of Itachi come to her mind. This caused her to stop as her fist was now only a few inches away from Freed's face. She then turned back to normal, much to Freed's confusion. "What are you doing?" Freed questioned. "This kind of fight is meaningless," Mira said with a small smile. "Is this the arrogance of the victor, Mira Jane? Just finish me off," Freed said. "We're comrades, members of the same guild, we laugh together, have fun together, walk together." "Be quiet, Laxus is my only comrade," Freed shouted. "You know that's not true. Freed, you've known it for a long time. I don't think it's wrong to depend entirely on one person, but you're surrounded by so many other people too. People are always connected with other people," Mira said, making Freed widen his eyes. "See, if you just reach out, you'll find them right there," Mira said and grabbed Freed's hand. "Once a person realizes it's lonely being alone, they can grow to be kind. You've come to realize that." Mira's kind, friendly words brought tears to Freed's eyes. "I never wanted to do this," Freed cried. "Yes, I know. Next year, let's all enjoy the harvest festival together, okay?" Mira said with a kind, friendly smile. But then she looked around and noticed that something was not right. "Where's Itachi?" Mira questioned as she then realized. He left," Mira shouted while unknown to her a crow watched over them. Meanwhile with Itachi. Itachi had his middle finger and index finger placed over his right eye. He then smiled. "She really is something, I will need to make it up to her later," Itachi said. Then his expression changed into a serious one. "With Freed gone, that only leaves Laxus." Meanwhile with Levi in the Guildhall. "The Thunder Palace is the judgment of the God of Thunder, only 10 minutes until it fires. Is Laxus actually serious about this? But things will work out. We still have Urza, Natsu, Gajiel, and even Itachi, even though he is sick. Oh yeah, there's Mistogen too, although I've never seen him," Levi said when suddenly footsteps were heard coming from the door. Who could be visiting at a time like this? In entered Perliuzica. "Where are those two insipid fools?" "Perliuzica, why are you?" I asked. "Where are they, that old fool, and that Itachi brat?" Perliuzica said. "Oh, Master is back there, in the infirmary. And Itachi, well, he ran out." "Oh, and the Master is?" "I know. That's why I'm here," Perliuzica said. "Oh, you're here to treat our master?" Levi questioned. "You Perliuzica ignored her and went to the infirmary and walked up to Makarov's bed. "Bring Laxus here." "Huh, bring that child here, he's out gallivanting around ignoring his grandfather's grave condition," Perliuzica said. "Gee, grave condition, surely it's not that bad. Please, just do as I ask. He hasn't much longer," Perliuzica said as tears formed in her eyes, making Levi widen her eyes in shock. Meanwhile with Laxus. "The time has come, I'm going to surpass you, old man. 6 minutes until Thunder Palace fires, no intention of surrendering, huh? You're still as stubborn as ever," Laxus said when he suddenly heard some footsteps. He turned around and saw the hooded figure of Mistogen. "Oh, so you came, Mistogen," Laxus said and let out a chuckle. "I never imagined you would join in on this game. If you take down the Thunder Palace at once, it could be explained away as a part of the entertainment," Mistogen said. "How simple-minded. You know what people have been saying, the title of strongest member of Fairy Tail belongs either to me, Itachi, or you," Laxus said. "It makes no difference to me, but if I were a betting man I would put my money on Gildarts." "But you're also forgetting Urza," Mistogen said. "First of all, that old geezer is never coming back. Secondly, no, I'm not. She shows promise, but she's still too weak. Unlike her dear older brother. Well, if they were related by blood she would have been stronger," Laxus mockingly said. "Urza, weak? Just how blind are you?" Mistogen said. "I acknowledge both you and Itachi's skills, Mistogen. The title of strongest belongs to one of us three," Laxus declared. "If that is the only way you can see things, then perhaps you're the simple-minded one." Mistogen said. Let's find out who's the strongest once and for all. Mistogen, no, another, Laxus said as Mistogen instantly swung a staff, sending a wave of magic energy at Laxus, who countered it with a wave of lightning. The impact created an explosion, destroying all the windows. Meanwhile, Itachi spotted the church and saw a cloud of dust coming from it. Looks like Mistogen found Laxus. Although Mistogen is almost as strong as Laxus, Laxus still has the edge. I need to hurry, Itachi said as he began panting and clenched his right hand over his chest. Although it looks like Mistogen will need to keep him occupied for a while, back at the church. Dust blew around Laxus and Mistogen. Where did you learn about that? Mistogen questioned. My, what a rare treat it is to see you flustered. Where did I find out? Good question. Maybe I'll tell you if you can beat me. Laxus smirked. You'll regret it, Laxus. You're about to witness magic you've never seen before. Mistogen declared. Oh, I'm shaking in my boots. Good luck with that. I'm just dying to find out how much stronger I am. Laxus declared. Mistogen brought out the staffs on his back as they stabbed themselves in the ground around him. Skyscraper, the floor beneath Laxus began to glow as it exploded, sending Laxus flying into the air, as the entire church was blown to bits. What? Impossible. The entire church. Wait a minute, this is, Laxus said as the sky above him began to open, revealing a monster. Laxus's body was wrapped up. Laxus looked at the monster emotionlessly and he smirked. Laxus powered up as the area around him exploded. Laxus laughed. What a joke. Your illusion is nothing compared to Itachi's. And ever since I lost to him, I've found a way to be immune to illusions like this and other ones that are stronger. Impressive. But you realized it one moment too late. Mistogen said as Laxus was surrounded by a purple light and several magic circles formed above him. Sleep. 5-layer magic circle. Sacred song. I'd say you're the one who should pay attention. Laxus said with a smirk as a magic circle appeared beneath Mistogen. Oh no. Mistogen said as he was electrocuted and Laxus was blasted by a wave of magic power. Mistogen was now hovering in the air above Laxus. He took his hands together with his index finger on both of his hands connected, forming a triangle. He then directed his finger towards Laxus as a magic circle formed on the tip of his fingers. Around Laxus came purple energy waves that were about to catch him when Laxus suddenly vanished in a flash of lightning. He slipped through. Laxus laughed as his body was surrounded with lightning. He charged at Mistogen, causing another explosion. Laxus landed back on the ground and Mistogen appeared in front of him like a ghost. Not bad. Laxus praised. Laxus. Urza and Natsu said in unison, standing in the doorway. Urza. Natsu said. Natsu. You got out. Urza said. Natsu then looked at Mistogen. So, who's this guy? Mistogen. Urza questioned as Mistogen looked at Urza, leaving him wide open. You're wide open. Laxus punched a wave of lightning towards Mistogen, hitting him right in the face, blowing his mask away. Once the dust cleared, it revealed a man with short blue spiky hair, much to Urza's shock. Jalal. Urza questioned in shock. Jalal. That's him. Jalal is Mistogen. Natsu questioned as this was his first time seeing him. Tears formed in Urza's eyes. Jalal. Why, you're alive. Urza questioned as an image of Itachi striking Jalal at the Tower of Heaven came to her mind. Oh, you recognize him? Laxus questioned with a smirk. What's going on? Mistogen, is Jalal? Natsu questioned. Jalal? Urza muttered, still in shock. Urza, you were the one person I wanted to keep this from. I am not Jalal. I know who he is, but he is not me. Mistogen said as Urza only stared at him in confusion. I'm sorry. I leave the rest to you. Mistogen said and vanished. Hey, Natsu shouted. Man, I'm so confused. But never mind that now. Laxus, I'm here to fight you. That's okay with you, Urza. I'm gonna fight him, Natsu said as Urza was shaking out of shock. Urza, Natsu said when suddenly Urza was hit by a wave of lightning. Arg, Urza screamed in pain. That expression doesn't suit you, Urza. Bring it on, Laxus said and blasted Urza back. Laxus, I already said I'm gonna take you on, you bastard. Natsu shouted. Oh, I didn't notice you there, Natsu. Laxus mocked as Natsu stood there gaping. I've had enough of your mockery. Natsu said as his fist got infused in flames. Laxus looked at him emotionlessly and took off his coat and headset. Fight me, Laxus. Natsu charged but Laxus leapt to the side, dodging him. Natsu, Urza muttered. Natsu charged again. Your stupid, headlong approach is the most annoying of all. Get lost, small fry. Laxus sent a wave of lightning towards Natsu, who dodged by leaping in the air. Fire Dragon. Talon. Natsu delivered a kick with his foot infused in flames. Laxus blocked Natsu with his arm and pushed him back. Natsu. Urza shouted. No worries, Natsu said with a smirk. Laxus then appeared in front of Natsu, kicking him in the jaw with his foot covered in lightning, then he grabbed Natsu's arm. You're not going anywhere. Laxus punched Natsu several times in the face. Natsu grabbed a hold of Laxus's arm. Me, run. This is just what I was waiting for. Natsu threw a punch with his fist covered in flames. Laxus tilted his head to the side, dodging it, and punched Natsu in the face with lightning flickering around his fist. Natsu returned a punch to Laxus in the face. Laxus bent Natsu's arm, forcing Natsu to fall on his butt. Laxus gathered a lot of lightning in his fist. Now I'll destroy you, Laxus shouted. Natsu swung his leg towards Laxus' legs. Laxus jumped up and covered his foot in lightning and stomped on Natsu's face, creating a small crater. Laxus punched Natsu in the face, sending him back. Natsu was about to get up, when Urza pushed his face down. Urza. Laxus smirked. I need to forget about Jalal. No, Mistogen, for the time being. I need to focus on Laxus now. Urza thought. Requip. Urza requipped into her black wing armor. She swung her sword at Laxus, who blocked it with his hand covered in lightning. What are those things hanging in the sky, Laxus? You've heard of the Thunder Palace before, haven't you? Laxus asked with an evil grin. Don't tell me you intend to attack Magnolia. Urza questioned, to which Laxus laughed. It's a new rule I added. Honestly, it pains me greatly too, Laxus chuckled. Curse you. Urza delivered a kick which Laxus caught with his hand. 2 minutes to go, Laxus said. Natsu. Destroy them all, Urza demanded. I can't. Actually, it's more like, if I destroy them they'll take me out too. Natsu said. What? Does that mean you used body link magic? Urza questioned, looking at Laxus. That's right. No one can do anything about those lacrimas. Laxus smirked. You're despicable, Urza said when Laxus sent a wave of lightning at her. Now my lightning will eradicate you too, Laxus said. Urza leapt back. Requip. Urza requipped into her Lightning Empress armor. Lightning Empress armor? Huh. Do you honestly think that can stop my lightning? Laxus sent a wave of lightning towards Urza, who leapt up in the air, dodging it. It does more than stop it, Laxus. Urza spun her Lightning Empress spear and blasted Laxus with a wave of lightning. Laxus leapt away in a flash. Urza brought the spear in front of her as a magic circle formed in front of it. Try stopping this, Urza. Laxus sent waves of lightning towards Urza, who was now surrounded by a lightning barrier blocking Laxus's waves of lightning. Not bad. When two people with the same type of magic clash, what determines the winner is, Urza said. Their amount of magic energy, technique, and experience, right? Laxus finished. And heart. Our master taught you that as well, Urza said. Yes, he taught me. Taught me that strength is what matters most. Laxus smirked coldly. You appall me, Urza said with disgust in her tone. Urza, why are you so raring to fight? I told you I'll handle Laxus, Natsu declared. Urza looked at her friend and smiled. I put my trust in you, Urza said and ran outside. Hey, where are you going? Natsu questioned. Don't tell me you're going to stop the Thunder Palace, Natsu questioned, to which Laxus laughed. It's no use. Just destroying one can mean death. And there are who knows how many of those lacrimas up there. You're also out of time, Laxus said. I will destroy them all simultaneously, Urza declared. Impossible. Even if you could, you'd still be a goner, Laxus said. But it would save the city. Urza ran out, much to Laxus's shock. Stop, Laxus. Natsu. Damn it. Are you trying to break the game's rule? Laxus shouted in anger. Can I put my trust in you too, Urza? Natsu questioned, to which Urza nodded. I'm not talking about whether it's possible or not. I'm talking about you making it through alive, Natsu said. Damn. Laxus ran towards the exit. Fire Dragon. Roar. Natsu spewed out a wave of fire directly hitting Laxus. I will beat you, pesky little brat, Laxus growled in anger. Fire Dragon. Brilliant Flame. Natsu threw a ball of fire that Laxus countered with a wave of lightning. The explosion sent Natsu back. You know just as well as I do, Natsu, Laxus said. Huh, Natsu questioned. You know just how spineless this guild has become, Laxus said as lightning flickered around him. I'm going to transform this guild. But first I need to become its master, Laxus said as a lightning bolt struck Natsu, sending him crashing into a pillar. 1 minute, 30 seconds until Thunder Palace fires. What are you doing, old man? Don't you give a damn about what'll happen to the town? Natsu chuckled. No need to feel so hard pressed, Laxus. It's obvious nothing's gonna happen. What? Laxus questioned. You have nothing to gain from destroying the city. You're just flustered now that it's too late to turn back. Don't worry. Urza will stop him. It ain't easy sticking to your guns, Laxus. Natsu charged. Laxus looked at Natsu in anger as lightning flickered around him. I'll teach you to act like a know-it-all. Laxus gathered an orb of lightning in his hand. Here I come. Natsu charged and so did Laxus. Meanwhile with Urza brought out almost every single weapon in her arsenal. She was now in her Heaven's Wheel armor, all the weapons levitated around her. 100. Still not enough. More weapons appeared around her. Suddenly all the lacrimas began to flicker lightning around them. Meanwhile with Itachi kept supporting himself up against a wall as he kept walking. Almost there, you should be resting. Mistogen appeared behind him. You should be fighting, Itachi said as he kept walking. Let me guess, Urza saw your face. Well, you're not her Jalal, but you're still Jalal. Just a counterpart from hers, Itachi said and kept walking. How do you plan to beat Laxus in your condition? Mistogen questioned. I will just play it smart, then in the end I will use everything I have to knock him out. Itachi replied. He's grown resistant to illusions. Mistogen informed. To normal powerful ones yes, but I have an illusion he can't grow immune against. Itachi said. You mean the Tsukuyomi? From what I heard Gildarts broke free from it. Mistogen said. Back then I still hadn't fully adapted to the Ethernano. There was a small reaction to the huge amount of Ethernano that was in Gildart's body which broke him free. But now it's just like it's always been, only a fellow member of my clan with Mangekyo Sharingan can break through. But that's not what I'm planning to use against Laxus. Itachi said. Huh? Mistogen questioned in confusion. Why not? I'm in no condition to use my Mangekyo, so I'll just play it smart first then brute force. Itachi replied and kept walking. What do you mean when you say, play it smart? Mistogen questioned. Just wait and see, Itachi replied as he walked away. Good luck, old friend. Mistogen said and vanished. Itachi suddenly saw various amount of attacks going for the lacrimas, swords, ice, energy blasts, water, magic energy and so on. Everyone is attacking the lacrimas, Itachi muttered as he saw all of the lacrimas getting destroyed. Itachi then spotted Warren and Gray's energy signature in the distance. Warren must have used his telepathy to unite everyone, thinking I was out of commission so he didn't try and link me up with the others. Itachi saw various lightning bolts striking around the city and he heard people screaming in pain. Well, at least that's one problem out of the way. Itachi fell to his knees. Cough cough cough. Itachi placed his hand over his mouth and coughed up blood. Itachi looked at his bloodstained hand while panting. I'm getting close to the same level one was at after Sasuke used the Kirin on me. If this keeps up I will. Itachi then clenched his bloodstained fist. No, I just have to hold on, for Ryuzuka said that the medicine should be ready soon. Itachi got back up and kept walking towards the church. Back at the church, Laxus stared in rage as the Thunder Palace had been taken down. See, told ya so. Natsu smirked. What about our guild needs to be changed? Everyone else is in the same loop. How do you expect to become their master if you refuse to be a part of that loop, Laxus? Laxus' expression darkened. Arg, Laxus shouted as he powered up with lightning sparking violently around him. How do I expect to become their master, you ask? Through domination. It's time you give up, Laxus. Fairy Tail won't be yours now. Natsu said. It will be. Yes, there was never any need for this game, I should have relied entirely on my power. This overwhelming might is my identity, after all. Laxus declared as the lightning around him grew more violently. So you'll give up if I take you down a notch, Laxus? Natsu said as his fist got infused in flames. Natsu leapt up in the air and raised his flaming fist. Fire Dragon. Iron Fist. Natsu's fist connected with Laxus's forehead, but Laxus didn't even budge. I'll start with you. Laxus blasted Natsu away, crashing into the ceiling with a bolt of lightning. Bring it on, Fairy Tail. I'll engulf you all. Natsu leapt from the ceiling with his body infused with flames. Laxus leapt at Natsu with his body infused with lightning. Hiya! Laxus punched Natsu in the gut, then delivered a barrage of kicks and punches, sending Natsu crashing to the ground. Laxus then blasted Natsu with a bolt of lightning. When the dust cleared, Natsu laid on the ground with lightning flickering around his damaged body. He really is strong, Natsu uttered as he struggled to get back up. Laxus raised his arm in the air as lightning began flickering around it. The roar of summoned thunder rolls far and wide, Laxus chanted. Crap. I can't move, Natsu uttered. Now plummet from the heavens and turn him to ash. Laxus chanted as the lightning from his hand went up in the air, forming a large orb of lightning. Raging bolt. Laxus sent the orb down upon Natsu, striking him like a thunderbolt. When the smoke from the explosion cleared, Natsu was nowhere to be seen. Laxus chuckled as lightning flickered around him. So, who's the strongest person in our guild, Natsu? Laxus then began laughing. Guess you can't answer if you've been turned to dust. Wasn't he one of your comrades? Gajil's voice was heard. Laxus looked towards the source and saw Gajil on the wall holding onto a railing with one hand while Natsu was in his other. Only someone with a screw loose would take out a comrade with joy. He hasn't been exterminated, though. Good thing, since that's my job. Gajil, Natsu muttered as Gajil leapt down to the ground with Natsu. More prey, Laxus chuckled, then Gajil threw Natsu to the side. Now you will die. All who stand in my way will be eliminated. I'll take care of Laxus. You stay out of this, Natsu said. I have a personal score to settle with this guy. But he's as strong as a real monster. It's no doubt that he shares Makarov's bloodline. I don't like it, but we have no choice. We'll fight him together. Gajil said, much to Natsu's shock. Screw that. I'm gonna beat Laxus myself. No way I'd ever team up with you anyway. Natsu threw a fit. Take a good look. Is that the Laxus you know? Gajil asked. Laxus chuckled darkly as his eyes glowed yellow. Time to die. Time to die. Natsu came to realize what Gajil was talking about. That's an enemy of the guild. We have to protect our guild by stopping him here and now. The Thunder Palace's counterattack immobilized all the others. Do you understand what'll happen if we don't stop him now? You're protecting our guild, Natsu questioned. I can choose to protect or destroy whatever I want. Gajil shouted. Thought you said there's no need for 2 dragons in these skies. Natsu said with a smirk. There isn't, but there's no way to fly through the sky with all this annoying thunder. Gajil smirked back. Just so we're clear, this is the only time I'll team up with you, Gajil. Natsu said. Obviously. I will settle the score with you someday. Gajil said. Let's do this. They said in unison and charged at Laxus. They both threw a series of punches at Laxus, who blocked them all. Laxus then swung his arm to the side, sending a wave of lightning that electrocuted Natsu. Natsu was sent flying back but was caught by Gajil. Bree, Gajil said. Fire Dragon. Roar, Iron Dragon. Club. Gajil transformed his arm into an iron club that was sent charging at Laxus, as Natsu's flames surrounded the club. Laxus leapt up in the air, dodging it. Iron Dragon. Sword. Gajil swung his leg towards Laxus, with his leg transformed into a sword. Laxus ducked, dodging it as he sent several lightning orbs at Gajil. Gajil leapt back, dodging the orbs as they hit the ground. Natsu then appeared behind Laxus, holding a large ball of fire over his head. Fire Dragon. Brilliant Flame. Natsu threw the ball of fire into Laxus back, sending him flying towards the ground. Iron Dragon. Spear. Demon Logs. Gajil transformed his arm into an iron spear, then blasted Laxus with a barrage of green energy spears. Fire Dragon. Iron Dragon. Roar. They both blasted Laxus with a wave of fire and a wave of iron, creating an explosion. In front of the 2 dragon slayers were a burning smoke cloud. Is that the best the 2 of you can do? Laxus' voice was heard from the smoke cloud. Laxus stood there with his purple shirt being slightly torn. You call yourself dragon slayers? What a laugh. No damage at all, Natsu said in disbelief. Impossible. I know he's strong, but that was a hell of a lot of dragon slayer magic. How can this be? Gajil questioned in shock. It's very simple, really. I kept it under wraps all this time cause I can't stand the old man, but I'll let you in on the secret now. I was saving this for my battle with Itachi. Oh well. Laxus' teeth suddenly began looking like fangs, his muscles increased in size, tearing up his shirt more, and his arms looked like they had dragon scales on them. Laxus then powered up with a huge amount of lightning flickering around him as his shirt exploded. It couldn't be. Natsu said in shock. No way. Gajil said in shock. Lightning Dragon, you're a dragon slayer too? Natsu questioned. Roar. Laxus burst out a large wave of lightning that collided with Natsu and Gajil, creating a huge amount of light. When the light died down, it showed Natsu and Gajil on the ground with lighting dancing around them. Oh, you're still alive. Just kick the bucket already, will you? Laxus said. My body. Natsu uttered as he and Gajil struggled to get up. I'm paralyzed. Gajeel uttered. You two, Urza, Mistogen, Itachi, the old man, everyone in the guild, all the people of Magnolia. It's time for you all to disappear. Laxus shouted and released a huge amount of light around him. What is all this magic energy? Gajeel questioned. It's Master Makarov's ultimate judgment magic that targets everyone the caster deems an enemy, fairy law. Laxus gathered his hands together forming an orb of light, that was so bright it lightened up the entire room. That's right, it's fairy law. I've heard stories of its destructive power. This is bad, Gajeel said. Stop, Laxus. Natsu begged but Laxus ignored him and kept charging up. Laxus. Stop it, Laxus. Levi entered the church. Levi. Natsu questioned. Fool, what are you doing here? Gajeel shouted. Laxus. Our master, our master, your grandfather, is in critical condition. Levi shouted gaining Laxus' attention. So please, stop this. Go see him. Laxus remained silent as his eyes were widened a bit. See critical condition. Gramp says, gonna die. Natsu questioned in shock. Laxus. Levi shouted. Laxus then smirked. That's perfect. Now I have another chance at becoming master. Laxus said shocking Levi. Bastard. Gajeel muttered. Laxus laughed maniacally. So long, fairy tale. I'm going to rebuild it from square one. I'm going to create the ultimate guild. It will be inferior to no one, and all will tremble in fear of it. Levi fell to her knees. This can't be happening. Why are you so intent on? Natsu shouted. Fairy law, active, wait. Itachi's voice was heard as he stood in the doorway facing Laxus, having his arms in the same position letting out the same amount of light. This ends now, Laxus. That's impossible. How can you use fairy law? Laxus questioned as he and Itachi were now in a standoff. I'm a genius, remember. Itachi replied. Itachi. Natsu questioned. Besides, aren't you supposed to be sick? Don't tell me that old hag somehow came to the guild and cured you. Laxus questioned. Itachi remained silent and simply stared at Laxus. I'm sure you realize what'll happen if the two of us activate fairy law, right? We'll all die, even you. Laxus narrowed his eyes and snickered. Yeah right, like you would do something stupid as killing yourself. Laxus said. You want to know what the difference between us is, Laxus? Itachi asked. I don't fear death, Itachi said as he glared at Laxus coldly. Who says I fear death? Besides you won't risk killing everyone in this town. Laxus pointed out. If I let you launch that it will happen either way. This way you will at least go down with us. Itachi said shocking everyone. Why you can't be serious? Laxus questioned sweating a bit nervously. Laxus' eyes reflected a large dark demon-like figure with horns and red eyes behind Itachi, as Itachi stood in its claws with his Sharingan glowing blood red. Laxus began shaking a little. Why you bastard? Your call. Either you cancel your fairy law and everyone gets to live. Or we both activate fairy law and everyone including you dies. Itachi said as his expression showed that he was dead serious. Damn you. Laxus cursed as the light between his hands vanished and he lowered his arms. Hey. Itachi smirked, as suddenly another Itachi ran through the one in front of Laxus. The one that had fairy law then vanished like a ghost as the other Itachi kicked Laxus in the chest sending him back. What the? Laxus questioned. An illusion. I heard from Mistogen that you have worked on a way to break free from powerful illusions, so I simply used a weak one that you wouldn't notice. Even though I'm a prodigy, there's no way I can master fairy law. Luckily I'm just smarter than you. Itachi said with a small smirk. Besides, I doubt you want to hurt anyone. You just don't want people to see you in your grandfather's shadow. What? You just want people to acknowledge you for who you are, not for where you come from. Little Laxus just wants to be recognized. Itachi said with a small smirk. Damn you. Let's settle this once and for all. You and me. Let's find out who's the strongest in fairy tale. Laxus shouted as he let out a violent amount of lightning all around his body. Play. Hatch it by as we ascend, fine by me. Itachi took out two kunais with paper bomb tags attached to them. Itachi leapt in the air and threw the kunais at Laxus, they stabbed around him and exploded. Laxus leapt out from the smoke cloud with his fist raised and covered in lightning. Die punk. Laxus threw a punch but Itachi dodged by stepping to the side. Itachi then kneed Laxus in the gut and kicked him into a pillar. Lightning Dragon. Demolishing Fist. Laxus threw a punch in the air as a fist made out of lightning charged at Itachi. Itachi leapt to the side dodging it and threw several shurikens at Laxus. The shurikens all circled around him. Laxus then smirked. Let me guess, wires. Laxus said as Itachi landed in front of him with a kunai in his hand. Itachi then cut a thin wire, and suddenly Laxus' arms and legs were tied up against the pillar behind him as well as his throat. Itachi then threw 3 kunai with paper bombs on them that exploded around Laxus. Laxus then leapt out from the smoke and punched Itachi with his lightning fist. The moment Laxus' fist connected, Itachi vanished in a pack of crows. Itachi then appeared behind Laxus and kicked him in the neck. He jumped above Laxus, landing in front of him, delivering an uppercut punch to his gut, making Laxus cough up blood. Laxus clenched his hands over his gut as his body was shaking and slowly backing away. Just give up, you're nowhere near my level, Itachi said. Laxus widened his eyes in anger. Nowhere near, I'll show you. Lightning Dragon. Roar. Laxus sent out a wave of lightning towards Itachi. Fire style. Fireball. Itachi spat out a large ball of fire that collided with the wave of lightning in a power struggle. Natsu, Gajil and Levi stared in awe as Itachi's fireball and Laxus' breath attack was evenly matched. Eventually the attacks exploded, and since the attacks were in the center of the church, dust in a large burning cloud covered both Itachi and Laxus. They both then leapt out at each other and collided their fists together, sending small shockwaves around the church. Itachi grabbed a hold of Laxus' fist and punched him in the face. He then threw Laxus into a pillar, breaking it. The rubble over Laxus exploded in lightning as Laxus stood there with a trail of blood coming from his mouth and a bruise on his cheek. He looked at Itachi enraged. What's going on? I should be the strongest. I share Gramps' blood. I should win. Laxus shouted in rage. Blood ties doesn't matter. It all depends on you. Not where you come from. Itachi said. I will defeat you. Laxus shouted and blasted Itachi with a barrage of lightning orbs. Itachi dodged all of them and threw some kunai at them, making the orbs explode. Defeat me. So far you haven't even landed a single punch, Itachi said with an emotionless, bored expression. Let's get this over with. Laxus quickly vanished in a flash of lightning. He appeared behind Itachi with his fist raised with lightning flickering around it. Itachi was about to duck when he felt a stabbing pain in his chest. Laxus punched him in the face, sending him crashing into the wall. Hey, there, I landed a punch. Laxus chuckled, but then his expression changed into confusion. Itachi. Natsu questioned. What's going on? Gajil questioned. Itachi stood there sweating and panting as he had a bruise mark on his right cheek and a trail of blood coming from his mouth. Itachi smirked a little. Laxus looked at him in shock. No way. Don't tell me. Why, you're still sick. You haven't even gotten any medicine or anything. How can you fight me like that? Laxus questioned. Itachi chuckled a little. Honestly, it feels as if I will collapse any minute now. The only thing that keeps me standing is pure willpower. Itachi panted. I will not rest until I have beaten you. Shut up. Laxus charged at Itachi with incredible speed. Laxus threw a punch with his right arm towards the Uchiha. Itachi stepped to the side and grabbed Laxus by the wrist as he delivered a punch to his upper arm. Laxus stepped back and looked at his arm in confusion. Was that supposed to hurt? Laxus said with a mocking tone. It was a special nerve punch. It might not have hurt, but you won't be moving that arm for a while, Itachi said as Laxus tried to move his right arm but to no avail. Laxus then charged at Itachi, delivering a punch with his left arm. Itachi grabbed his wrist, turned around and threw Laxus over his shoulder, sending Laxus into the ground. Itachi quickly placed his foot on Laxus' left arm and twisted it. Hard. Laxus screamed in pain as the sound of something breaking came from his arm. That's one paralyzed arm, and one broken one. Just give up, Itachi said in a cold tone. Wow, brutal, Gajil commented as they continued to stare in awe. Laxus swung his leg at Itachi's legs, making the Uchiha trip. Laxus kicked him with lightning flickering around his foot. Fine then, I will just kick you until you die, Laxus declared. I warned you, Itachi said as Laxus charged at him. Once Laxus was close enough, Itachi leapt up and delivered a series of kicks at Laxus' upper body. Laxus took a step back for each kick from Itachi. Itachi then roundhouse kicked Laxus in the jaw. Itachi formed a few hand signs. This will be my last jutsu. Fire style. Great Fire Whirlwind. Itachi first blew out a large whirlwind, then a wave of flames that merged with it, creating a massive whirlwind of fire that destroyed the ceiling on the church. What the? Laxus questioned as he got sucked into the whirlwind. Arg. Laxus' scream was heard as he was eventually blasted out the end of the whirlwind and was sent flying across the city. Wow, Natsu said in awe as the fire whirlwind dissipated, with traces of flames burning around Itachi before they vanished. Itachi. Mira's voice was heard as she and Fried ran into the church. Where's Laxus? Fried questioned. Well, by my calculations he should have landed outside of the Guildhall. Itachi replied. Does that mean? Mira questioned. I beat him, Itachi said with a smile. That was awesome, Itachi, now fight me. Natsu said with his fist covered in flames. I'm fired up. Itachi smiled at Natsu before he fell to the ground. Itachi. Mira instantly ran to his side. She turned his body around to see his face. And saw that he was panting while still smiling. Seriously, you almost worried me to death there. Mira said with a small smile. Help me get him back to the guild. Mira said looking at Natsu and Gajeel. Yeah, Natsu said and wrapped Itachi's arm over his shoulder and supported his body up while Gajeel took the other side. They all went back to the Guildhall to find everyone else from the guild gathered in a circle. They all looked at an unconscious Laxus who was in a small crater with severe burn marks on his body. Everyone then looked at Natsu and Gajeel who were still supporting an unconscious Itachi. Did Itachi beat Laxus? Gray questioned, to which Natsu nodded. But isn't he really sick? Lucy questioned with a worried expression that was shared by many. Precisely. Perliuzuka said and walked up to Itachi. She then slapped him in the face. Wake up, you fool. I went to all the trouble of bringing your medicine here. So wake up. Perliuzuka shouted, making Natsu and Gajeel who were still supporting Itachi sweat drop. Perliuzuka. Where's the medicine? Itachi questioned, looking pale. I will give it to you once we're in the infirmary. Perliuzuka said as she went towards the door of the guild. Also, someone bring that idiot child in too. Perliuzuka said, looking at Laxus. Later, Itachi sat in the hospital bed in the infirmary with Urza, Mira, Natsu, Gajeel, Levi, Perliuzuka, then unconscious Laxus and the unconscious Makarov. How's the master? Itachi asked. He will live. I was able to treat him while you were busy fighting. Perliuzuka replied and handed Itachi a small box. Itachi opened it and saw 3 test tubes with corks on the top. Inside was a pink liquid. One of them is enough to increase your lifespan by 3 months. Use what time it gives you to find that last flower. I will keep one myself in case of emergency. But I searched 2 years and I couldn't find it. Are you sure there's no way else to cure me? Itachi asked. There aren't any other ways. While you were searching for the herbs, I looked into various books to see if I could find another cure, but I couldn't find any other way than this. The flower is rare and tends to grow in a few locations. They could even exist in a different unknown location. Perliuzuka informed as everyone gasped at hearing that there was no other cure. Wait, why are you keeping a tube in case of emergency? Mira questioned. The cure will only work if he squeezes out the juice of that flower into this liquid. If he were to use all of them at once, or carry them all at once, there is a good chance he will run out, lose them, or they get destroyed, so it's best to keep one safe just in case. Perliuzuka replied. What does this flower even look like? Urza asked. It has a blue stem, and red flower petals. It's called the blood vein flower. Inside of the stem flows a certain important liquid that has healing powers against any kind of virus. You just need the right recipe for the cure you need to make, hence why the other herbs are just as important. Perliuzuka replied. Itachi took one of the tubes, took off the cork and drank it. How long until I feel the effect? You'll start feeling just like you did 2 years ago in about an hour. In the meantime, rest. Perliuzuka said. Very well, I can go on jobs, later, right? Itachi asked. It shouldn't be a problem, but you're still limited to using only 40% of your full power. Perliuzuka replied. Understood. Itachi said. Still, you have gone against that rule, haven't you? Perliuzuka asked in a cold tone, narrowing her eyes. Well, it was an emergency, Itachi said. Perliuzuka sighed. Just try and keep it to the limit next time. Oh, he will. Mira said, looking at Itachi. Although she was smiling, she still let out a dark aura around her. Most certainly. Urza said, having the same dark aura as Mira, but no smile. In fact, she was holding a sword. Itachi's sweat dropped. So your threat is to kill me if I don't do what you say? Oh, no, Urza said. Just hurting you really, really badly. Mira said. Itachi chuckled a little nervously. Tough love, huh? Later, after the Battle of Fairy Tail, everyone had gathered back at the Guildhall, with the exception of Makarov, who was still recovering. Thanks to Perliuzuka, he's going to survive. Rest easy. Our master is safe. Urza informed the rest of the people in the Guildhall, to which everyone cheered. But he is at an advanced age. Any added strain will impact his health. Always keep that in mind, everyone. Aye, sir. But are we really gonna do the Fantasia parade with all this going on? Lucy questioned as she sat with Gray, Jubia, Kana, Mira Jane, Elfman and Itachi. It's what the master wants, plus you could say this is actually the best time to hold it. Mira said. Jubia can't wait to see the Fantasia parade. Huh? Gray questioned. You're gonna be in it? Kana said. Huh? Jubia questioned in surprise. That's right, Macau and Wakaba said in unison. But Jubia's still just a newcomer, Jubia said as she stood in front of a pillar rubbing her finger on the pillar. I can't tell if she's troubled or if she's excited, Wakaba said. I'd say it's both, Macau said. That's so cute, Kana said. A lot of people were hurt, so everyone who's still able-bodied is supposed to be in it. Happy said while munching on a fish. Meaning, I'm in it too, Lucy said showing the same hint as Jubia, can't tell if she's troubled or excited. Well, those things can't be in it, Gray said pointing at Natsu and Gajeel who were wrapped up in bandages. Don't call us things, Gajeel said. Faham. Natsu mumbled since most of his face including his mouth were wrapped up in bandages. I can't even tell what he's saying, Lucy said. I doubt it's anything special. Happy said. Forget it. You know we can't be in it, you scum. Gajeel said to Natsu. Faham. That's got nothing to do with it. What are you, a heartless monster? Gajeel said, him being the only one who could understand Natsu for some reason. How can he understand him? Lucy questioned. He's a dragon slayer, they have better hearing. Itachi said as he only had a band-aid on his right cheek and some bandages wrapped around his gut, although you could not see it since he was wearing a white V-neck shirt over it. Everything suddenly got quiet as Laxus stood in front of the entrance. He had bandages wrapped all over his upper body, neck, forehead, and a band-aid on his cheek. Laxus. Hey, you, where's the old man? Laxus asked as several people had surrounded him. Why you? How dare you come here, hoping to see the master? Yeah, you ain't going anywhere. He's in the infirmary, Itachi said. Hey, it's okay, he's not going to try anything. Itachi said as Laxus sent him a look and nodded and walked towards the infirmary. Faham. Natsu shouted pointing his finger at Laxus. Natsu, Laxus said. Faham. Interpret, please, Lucy said looking at Gajeel. He says, I will fight you alone next time. I won't lose next time. You better fight me someday, Laxus. Gajeel translated. But I thought you guys did win. Lucy questioned. Well, Itachi is the one who knocked him out in the end, we only fought him 2-on-1. Gajeel said. I will admit, it was a little easier to defeat Laxus since Urza, Mistogen, Natsu and Gajeel exhausted him a bit. Itachi said. He's a monster. I shiver just imagining if he'd taken part in the phantom battle. Gajeel admitted as Laxus walked past Natsu who turned around and kept shouting something. Laxus kept walking and lifted his hand up acknowledging Natsu's challenge. Laxus stopped and turned towards Itachi. I expect a fight with you to someday. So make sure you get cured. Laxus kept walking. Hey. Yeah, I'll try, rival, Itachi said. Urza smiled and then looked back at everyone else. Alright, everyone, let's get ready for the Fantasia parade. Laxus stood in the corner of the infirmary as Makarov laid in a bed as they heard everyone cheer outside. What a rowdy bunch, Laxus said. Makarov sat up from his bed. Do you realize what you've done? Makarov questioned as Laxus avoided his grandfather's gaze. Look me in the eye, Makarov said as Laxus turned to face his old grandfather. Our guild is a gathering place for friends, it's a job agency, and it's even family in the eyes of kids with no one to call their kin. It's not yours to own. Our guild is formed by the trust and loyalty of each individual member. You broke that loyalty and threatened the lives of your comrades. This is absolutely unforgivable. I know, Laxus clenched his fist. All I wanted was to make this guild even stronger. How inept you are. You need to relax a little, Makarov said as he jumped off the bed. Do so, and you'll begin to see things you were once blind to. You'll begin to hear things you were once deaf to. Life is much more enjoyable than you think. I felt happy to be alive, watching you grow. It wasn't important to me if you were strong or if you were smart. The only thing that mattered was that you were full of life. Makarov said, making Laxus shake a bit. Laxus, you are hereby banished from the guild, Makarov declared, no matter how much it pained him. Yes, thanks for everything, Grandpa, Laxus said as Makarov turned around so that Laxus wouldn't see him crying. Take care of yourself. Get out. The Thunder God tribe didn't take it well that Laxus got kicked out. They first threatened that if Laxus got kicked out they would leave too. But Laxus convinced them otherwise and said his goodbyes. Later on, the parade began. Everyone was on different fleets displaying their magic abilities for all to see. And the crowd enjoyed it. Even Natsu, despite having all of his injuries, had a small part. Master, Gajeel said as he walked up to Makarov. You're not going to participate? Makarov questioned. Not my kind of thing. Gajeel replied. If you say so, Mr. Shubi-Doo-Ba. Makarov teased as Gajeel gained a small blush. Here, Master. Gajeel handed Makarov a note. I tracked down where Master Ivan, your son, is. I apologize for giving you such a dangerous task. Makarov apologized and took the note. Nah, don't sweat it. I know what I'm doing. He has no idea that I'm a double agent. Gajeel said with a smirk as Makarov placed his hand on his shoulder. You've done well. I won't let him have his way. Looks like you're not the only one who doesn't want to participate. Makarov said as he spotted the young Uchiha on a rooftop. Itachi was on the rooftops watching the parade when he suddenly spotted Laxus among the crowd. Itachi saw that everyone in the parade then lifted up their arms with their index finger pointing upwards and their thumb sticking out on the side. Seeing this made Laxus remember his childhood with his grandfather, bringing tears to his eyes. Laxus then looked at Itachi, who looked back at Laxus. Itachi smiled and lifted his hand up in the air just like the others. Laxus had tears running down his face as he walked away. See you later, my rival. Itachi muttered. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. The next episode will be out soon.